The FBI says that they have arrested 3 people in the August 5th explosion at the Dar al-Farouk Islamic Center.
The arrest and the federal charges happening only this afternoon.
That bombing that took place last summer was a tragedy for all Minnesotans.
We are extremely concerned about the fact of what we have learned so far.
Local Muslims have waited months for this day. More than a half of a year after the bombing of the Dar al-Farouk Islamic Center, 3 men are now in custody. Michael Hari, Joe Morris, Michael McWhorter all face federal arson charges. And the men are from a tiny town in eastern Illinois. We have team coverage of today's developments. Farah Fazal heard from the Muslim community. But first, Beth McDonough tells us how investigators made these arrests. Beth?
They made them rapidly. Keep in mind, this time last night, there were no arrests, certainly no charges. But federal agents got the break they needed, and today they got confessions.
It is important that the public be made aware that these individuals have been apprehended and are charged federally in connection with the bombing in Bloomington.
These 3 men, Michael McWhorter, Joe Morris, and Michael Hari, all charged with using an explosive device to maliciously damage and destroy this Islamic mosque in Bloomington with a predominantly Somali membership. Video from surveillance cameras inside showed significant damage, but there were no deaths or injuries.
At this time, we and our law enforcement partners no longer believe there is any further threat to the community.
A tip and these photos of bomb-making materials, illegal weapons, and evidence similar to the IED used in Bloomington led FBI and ATF investigators across state lines to Illinois. They probed an attempted firebombing at a women's health clinic which provides abortions. This one occurred months later in November. Only this device didn't go off. But there were scary similarities which generated important leads and now charges. These court documents reveal the suspects each had a specific role and meant to send pipe bombs along with messages. They claimed they didn't intend to kill anyone, but to scare them out of the country because they pushed their beliefs on others.
We've seen a tremendous amount of support for Dar al-Farouk throughout this. We hope this is a significant portion in the healing process for Dar al-Farouk.
While authorities didn't take questions at the press briefing today, they did answer something on all of our minds: motivation. Why would those men drive 500 miles in a rented truck from Illinois to target a mosque in Minnesota? Investigators are working on that even tonight to find out if there is any possible connection that does exist. We should point out there was a 4th person who was arrested and charged, but this was for a weapons violation, possession of a machine gun.
And even after all this time, they made those arrests. Just
7
incredible.
months, they did it. They didn't give up.
Right. Beth, thank you. The Muslim community really has been waiting for months for this news. And Farah Fazal is live at the Islamic Center in Bloomington. And Farah, you heard from Muslim leaders today.
We did, and they told us that they are shocked that people would cross state lines and come all this way just to target them. But they also said they know that the people who hate them are well-funded, well-organized, and they are armed.
We want to know why. Why us?
What would cause somebody who lives in Illinois to target this particular mosque? Why this one out of the 75 in Minnesota?
Who was involved in this attack? Who else knew what these individuals were doing?
Those are the unanswered questions about the bombing of this mosque last August. The imams and their worshippers here at Dar al-Farouk say they know hate is part of the problem.
It is possible that one of our neighbors of our communities may have put the target on this mosque.
The FBI did not address that theory at Tuesday's news conference, but the head of the Council on American Islamic Relations says people who spread hate spend millions of dollars to carry out that hate. The imams say the president can help, even though he has never released a statement on the bombing.
I call upon President Trump to unequivocally condemn this act of terror.
Imam Assad Zaman says he's had death threats and 10,000 hate-filled posts on his Facebook page.
We are getting attacked day after day, and we have a lot of good people who are not saying anything, just being, silent, and that's a conspiracy of silence.
Imam Assad Zaman says 2 state lawmakers are engaging in Islamophobia against this community. He said, we are not naming them because we haven't been able to get their side. But Imam Zaman and the other imams say they're going to go to the Capitol and try and talk to these lawmakers about how to stop the hate against this community. Reporting live in Bloomington, Farah Fazal, 5 Eyewitness News.
And while the 3 suspects have been charged now, this legal case is far from over. You can count on 5 Eyewitness News and KSTP.com for continuing coverage as it plays out.